The goal of this video is to go over SysAdmin job interview questions, and our resource is opensource.com, so there's the link. Maybe if I change the color so it's easier to see, obviously it's up here as well. But I love this opensource.com website, and for this video, we'll go ahead and just start with the low level, maybe easy kind of questions. So let's get started here. It says, as a geek who always played with computers, a career after my master's in IT was a natural choice. So I decided the SysAdmin path was the right one, and in the process of my career, I have grown quite familiar with the job interview process. So here's a look at what to expect, and the person who is saying this is right here, Shashank Hegde of Red Hat. And at the time of this recording, this is pretty new. So it says July 25th, 2019. I'm in October of 2019 right now. Now, before we get into the questions, here are some typical SysAdmin tasks and duties. Organizations need someone who understands the basics of how a system works so they can keep their data safe and keep their services running smoothly. Depending on their company's needs and the person's skill level, SysAdmin's tasks vary from managing desktops, laptops, networks, and servers to designing the organization's IT policies. Sometimes sysadmins are even in charge of purchasing and placing orders. You'll need to keep your skills and knowledge up to date, and as rapid changes in the IT field, you'll need to keep your skills and knowledge up to date. The IT field itself is just one full of rapid changes. So here's our first basic question. What are the first 5 commands you type on a Nix server after login? A good answer would be first ls-blk to see information on all block devices. You should probably type in who to see who is logged into the server. The top command gives you a sense of what is running on the server. df-tach-kht, capital T, to view the amount of disk space available on the server. And then, of course, netstat, to see what TCP network connections are active. So a very opinionated question here, just to help you digest the information. But of these 5 commands, which do you think the interviewer will want to hear the most? And I mean, you can go in any direction with your answer, and I think by writing it out, you will internalize what an appropriate answer to a question like that will be. Personally, I think I might netstat first thing when I log on to the server. So the next question, how do you make a process run in the background, and what are the advantages of doing so? A good answer might be, you can make a process run in the background by adding the special character ampersand at the end of the command. Generally, applications that take too long to execute and they don't require user interaction are sent to the background so that we can continue our work in the terminal. So now for your notes or your journal, however you keep up to date or show your learning while watching these videos, I'm asking why use the ampersand at the end of a command to start a process. A sysadmin needs their terminal, right? So that's a pretty straightforward answer. Next question, is running these commands as root a good or bad idea? Running everything as root is bad due to 2 major issues. The first is risk. Nothing prevents you from making a careless mistake when you are logged in as root. And if you try to change the system in a potentially harmful way, you need to use sudo, which introduces a pause while you're entering the password. This will ensure you aren't about to make a mistake. Now the second reason is security. Systems are harder to hack if you don't know the admin user's login information, and having access to root means you already have 1/2 of the working set of admin credentials. And I would add to that, it's even intelligent to, for some commands, change the alias, however you say that word, change it so that when you use that potentially harmful command, you have to type in a password as well. So I'm simply going to ask here, why is running as root a bad idea? Next question, what is the difference between rm and rm-tach-rf? Well, the rm command by itself only deletes the named files and not directories. With rf, you add 2 additional features. The lowercase r, the uppercase r, or recursive flag will recursively delete the directory's contents, and this includes hidden files and subdirectories, and the F or force flag makes RM ignore non-existent files and never prompt for confirmation. So simpler question for me, and then I think you can use logic in the interview to piece together what you should say, but what does TAC-RF stand for? And here's our last question. Compress.tgz has a file size of approximately 15 gigabytes. How can you list its contents, and how do you list them only for a specific file? The answer is, first, to list the contents, just type in tar tf archive.tgz. And if you want to extract a specific file, you would do tar xf archive.tgz and then the file name. So here I'm asking, what does tf and xf stand for? If I Google tar options and then go here, well, if we go to the manual, I see an example here, and they basically say, thus to extract files whose names end in .c, you can use, and then it shows you, but just using logic here and seeing keywords, xf must stand for extract files. Now if I search for tactf, all I see is it says the command below will list its contents. I don't know what the T could stand for. I assume the F is file. I guess some of these options are just hard to memorize. For me, I always just try to say what these stand for. But maybe in an interview, a key would be like, well, I'd read the tar command manual. Alright, so hope that helps. Next time I'll be reading the medium difficulty questions.